guys, this is going to be our bonus video for our review session. I get a lot of people asking, where do you shoot on the 2A5 in the front? A lot of people still don't know what the weaknesses of the 2A5 are. Whereas it has some of the higher number of weaknesses from the front. It can get penetrated in the front rather consistently in a lot of different places. So what we have first is, you can't quite get the right angle in the garage to be able to see it very well. It's much easier to see in battle. But there's a little strip that, you've got your really heavily angled lower plate right here, and then you've got a less heavily angled little strip down here. Or less thick, it's less thickness, and that's a good guaranteed penetration to any tier 8 man battle tank. That will be guaranteed damage there. You've got your gunner sight, which is, I'd say, about 50-50 whether it's going to go through and not do, it'll do actual damage on top of the module damage, or just it get absorbed by the sight. Then another little thing is, you can overpen this area here where the light is. It's a small target, you have to get a little bit of elevation possibly, but I mean, that you can go straight through the top of the turret still. You can still get damage off of this. It's not always going to be a crit, but it does get module damage, does get some sort of damage off of it. Sometimes it gives you a crit. And then also, if you have a little bit of elevation, you can just go straight through into the top of the ammo rack, and that's going to do crit damage. Now, here's the one that Gator kind of posted on the forums, and that's how I learned about it, because I didn't know about it until then. But here is this little raised fold of armor. It is completely flat to the enemy from the front, and that goes straight into a crit spot. It will do ammo rack damage, and it has made my day really horrible sometimes when I'm using the 2A5, because you don't have a huge amount of health. You're not the M1A1. You can't get yourself up to 3,300 health. So, I have also been shot through the turret ring. It doesn't happen very often. It's very unlikely because there's a lot of thick armor up here, but it is possible. Got to keep that in mind. So from the sides here, this is a really long tank. You have to be very careful when you're angling, this way with the tank, because a lucky HE round shot around here or here, towards the middle, towards the back, can possibly set you on fire. The fuel tanks on the 2A5 is also pretty weak. It seems to be that, the M1A1 and the 2A5 both have pretty weak fuel tanks. Those fuel tanks are right along here. Sometimes people will deal damage because they're going to the fuel tanks, because, missing the upper hull here, they'll go right into the fuel tank, and they'll take fuel tank damage, so you got to be careful about that. And then right up here is your ammo rack. Your ammo rack, you have to be very, very careful about. Just about anything at tier 8 can pen your ammo rack from the sides. So when you turn your turret, when you're reloading to cover your sight, you be very careful. You pay attention where they are aiming at your front, because if you over angle your turret to about here, they can shoot right about here and get your ammo rack. And then right along here is where they would shoot for your engine. And then from the back, it's squishy. It's the back of a tank. It's going to be squish. And that about covers it for our bonus video on the weaknesses of the Leopard 2A5.